This is Moonlight. I'm here with the Week 3 match versus the Texas Tauros and their coach, the Nuzlocke King. So his team, pretty intimidating. Mimikyu, Gliscor, Blastoise, Roserade, Magmortar, Tauros, Mecha Aggron, Garchomp, Acelgor, Zoroark, and Rotom Frost. And also, I know this video is coming out a little late. Week 4, my Week 4 match has already ended, so I'll probably get that up later this weekend as well. But I've just been trying to get these done over the weekend, and I didn't have any time last weekend, so this was the best opportunity for me. So the team I'm expecting from him is Mimikyu, Roserade, Garchomp, Mega Aggron, Zoroark, and then I can see Gliscor or Blastoise coming. Leaning more towards the Gliscor, because it gives him really good, like, physical offensive wall, and that way he can just run a special Mega Aggron. So that's the team I'm kind of looking at. Mimikyu and Garchomp for obvious reasons. He also has Dragonium Z, so Garchomp works really well with that. Zoroark, I think he's going to bring to counter Gengar, because Gengar is a big threat versus his team otherwise. And then Roserade just demolishes my team. Life Orb Roserade, 2-hit KOs everything. It's his best wall breaker versus me. So this week, so we're starting off with Spark Plug, the Rotom Heat, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Overheat, Hidden Power Ice, Max Special Attack, Max Speed, Timid Nature with the Choice Scarf. Pretty much this hits everything. It KOs the Tauros with Overheat, OHKOs the Tauros, the Roserade, the Zoroark, the Acelgor. It comes close to OHKOing the Rotom Frost. It doesn't Frost. It deals massive damage to the Garchomp, to the Mega Aggron. It does a lot of damage to the Blastoise. It does good damage to Mimikyu. It does great damage to Gliscor. It does good damage to Magmortar. All around great move. Hidden Power Ice, so I can OHKO the Gliscor and the Garchomp depending on the spreads. Volt Switch for pivoting, and Thunderbolt for stab versus Blastoise. So, just a great all-around mom this week. Next, we're bringing Slade, the Mega Gallade, Ice Punch, Close Combat, Zen Headbutt, Knockoff, Jolly Max Speed with Max Attack. This is going to be like one of my main breakers for this week. Unlike last week where I brought the late game sweeping set, this is just a great breaker versus his team. Ice Punch destroys Garchomp, destroys Gliscor. Close Combat, Knockoff, and Zen Headbutt just obliterate everything else. Nothing wants to take a close combat outside of, well, obviously Mimikyu, and I guess kind of Gliscor can take it, but can't take an Ice Punch immediately afterwards. Knockoff does massive damage to Mimikyu. It does massive damage. It OHKOs the Roserade. And then Knockoff is just there because it's good to get rid of any items. So Mega Gallade came in clutch last week, hoping it does some work this week. Next we got Flora, the Florges, Wish Protect, Defog, Moonblast, Max HP, 120 defense, 136 special defense with the Calm Nature, Leftovers. So this is just my special wall. Because completely walls, it completely walls Acelgor, completely walls Zoroark, walls, Specs Magmortar. Specs Magmortar can't touch this thing. He did bring an offensive Blastoise a few weeks earlier, so if he runs physically offensive Blastoise, completely stalls that. If he wants to bring, like, special Garchomp for some weird reason, sorry, that's Discord. If he wants to bring special Garchomp for some odd reason, then he can bring it, but it'll get walled. Yeah. Next, Mr. Noodle, the Tangela. Eviolite Regenerator. Very similar spread as to last week, except with Hidden Power Ice. This is my physical wall. And you're going to find out it really annoys the hell out of his team because nothing can touch this thing. Mimikyu can't break it, Garchomp can't break it, Tauros can't break it, Blastoise can't break it, Mega Aggron can't break it, Zoroark can't break it unless he has, like, I don't know, like, Specs Flamethrower, and even then that doesn't do too much. So, this is just great all-around Pokemon. Eviolite does tons of work. Next, we have Kieran Black. Not going to show the item because I want to save that for future weeks when I might bring it. But I'm running Ice Beam, Fusion Bolt, Earth Power, and Iron Head, max speed, naive nature with 4 special attack EVs and max attack. This is just my best all-around breaker. Mimikyu, here's the thing. Mimikyu, if it is adamant max attack, cannot kill Garchomp from full. It does 95% max, and with Iron Head I can OHKO it because Disguise does not work. Ice Beam destroys Garchomp and it destroys Gliscor, and this thing, it can tank Dragon Claws from Garchomp 4 days. I'm pretty sure it can tank a Dragonium Z depending on what kind of spread he's running. Earth Power does massive damage to Mega Aggron. Rotom Frost dies to an Earth Power because it's not immune. Thanks for Terravolt. It outspeeds Roserade and kills with Earth Power. It outspeeds Magmortar, kills with Earth Power. It obliterates Blastoise and Tauros. Fantastic all-around breaker. By far, like, the best breaker that I have on this team, except for Mega Gallade. And then, of course, the late game Sweeper, Specs, Swellow, Boom Bitch, Boom Burst, U-Turn, Heat Wave, Air Slash, max speed, max special attack, timid nature, obliterates his team. Nothing on his team switches into a Boom Burst, with the exception of like a specially defensive Mega Aggron, and even that it's taking like 25%. If he's like fully physically defensive, he's taking like 25-30%. If he's fully specially defensive, he's taking 15%, but it's a great chip for my other mons. So, something that I'm looking forward to, I'm just going to turn off the volume for the match. So, great all-around mon. Very much looking forward to this team. I was very much looking forward to using this team. So, let's get into the match. So, he brings a very similar team to what I thought he would bring. He doesn't bring the Gliscor, he brings the Blastoise, but that's fine by me. Rotom is doing a lot more work without the Gliscor to have to worry about. And then Kieran Black also doing more work because don't have to deal with the mind games versus whether or not Fusion Bolt or Ice Beam on Gliscor. But what he does not bring is he doesn't bring the Roserade. Instead, he brings the Tauros, which I just found really, really odd because Tauros can't break through my physical walls. It can't even break through Florges, and Roserade broke through everything. The only thing that Roserade did not break through was, let me just check here. The only thing that Roserade did not break through was, like, special defense, max HP, Assault Vest, Drapion. And even then, Leaf Storm was like a 3-hit KO. So, starting the match off, I lead off with Rotom Heat, and he leads off with Tauros, right? So I'm just thinking I can just overheat here. Nothing on his team wants to switch into it. If Mimikyu comes in, its Disguise is gone. If this is Zoroark, it dies. If it's Tauros, it dies. So I just go for the overheat, and of course, I miss it. And he goes for the knockoff. He reveals that he is the Zoroark. So, first turn, pissed off because Rotom Heat, now pretty much useless without the Choice Scarf. So he goes for Sludge Bomb, hoping to kill. It doesn't. Comes close to, and I kill the Zoroark with the overheat. The crit does not matter at all. The crit would have mattered if this was Tauros, but this is fine. So he brings in his actual Tauros here, and at this point I can either sack off Rotom and get or I can switch into something, or I can switch into my Tangela and save the Rotom either as a sack later on, or as like to get a little bit of chip damage off on something. So I choose to save Rotom for later. He does reveal Retaliate, which is some interesting tech. Doesn't do very much at all, because I can just Leech Seed and regenerate back all that damage. So he goes into Mimikyu, and I just Leech Seed, which is free HP, free chip on Mimikyu. He goes for the Sword Stance here, and I just reveal the Sludge Bomb. Get rid of his Disguise, and I'm just gaining HP slowly but surely. So he reveals the Leech Life here, Interesting tech. I didn't really expect this too much, but I knew that I could tank it no matter what. So I just go for the Sludge Bomb here, do some good damage. I get the Toxic off. So that's really annoying for him, especially since he cannot break through this thing because I can just Giga Drain up or switch out. So I go and just sack off my Rotom Heat here to the Mimikyu. Leech Life does nowhere near enough, and then poison damage is starting to rack up. So I just bring in Swellow here. Because Swellow at this point, I can just go for a Boom Burst, and something gets hit. Something gets hit hard. Something gets hit hard. Sorry. I know that Mega Aggron. Well, I just know that normal Aggron doesn't tank a Boom Burst super well, so I just go for that. I could have gone for the Heat Wave, predicting the Mega Aggron switch, because Heat Wave did kill from here. But I would rather be safe than sorry. Just go for the Boom Burst, because who knows what his spread could have been. So he just switches out, goes into Aggron, and based off of this damage here, I know that he brought physically defensive Mega Aggron, which tells me immediately that Blastoise is his specially defensive wall. And so this is good news for me. So at this point, I just switch into Kyurem Black, and he pulls the double switch into Mimikyu. So good prediction on his end. Poison damage starting to rack up, so I just go into Tangela, tank the hit. And Mimikyu dies to poison damage from Tangela, so Tangela gets its first kill of the season. Here he brings in Shark, Garchomp, so I can just Leech Seed here. He does reveal Poison Jab, does get the poison off. Really annoying, but I do get the Leech Seed off here, so that way I can start dealing damage to him. He brings in Blastoise on the switch. I bring in Mega Gallade, and so this isn't the greatest situation here because don't want to risk the Scald Burn, and because Mega Gallade is such a great. At this point, Mega Gallade can sweep his team for the most part if I get the speed rules on Tauros and if he isn't running Scarf Chomp. But at this point, at this HP, I can't knock out the Blastoise, so I have to switch out. So I bring in Kyurem Black, he goes for the Scald, and he gets the burn. So, Kyurem Black is pretty much useless here because the only thing it's good for now is Earth Powering Mega Aggron, which he can just switch in different mods on. So, I just go for the Fusion Bolt here. It still does massive amounts of damage. You can see a lot of the guys thought that the game was pretty much over once Kyurem Black was burned. He shows off the Aura Sphere, which is good tech for him. I really do like that. So I could have chosen to save Kyurem Black, but I thought that it would just be better for me to get off as much damage as possible on this thing. So that's just what I do. Bring him down really, really low, and he just kills Kyurem Black. A little disappointed with how Kyurem Black went out this week, but it did its job. It broke through Blastoise, which is one of his really threatening defensive walls for Mega Gallade. So I just Mega Evolve here, and I go for knockoff. And he does reveal Assault Vest, so he brings in Aggron here. At this point, close combat does not kill. I think at max I did 65% to him, and he killed, and he did massive damage back to me. So this told me that at least his Tauros or his Garchomp were scarfed, and I was guessing it was the Tauros. And so at this point, two of my big breakers are gone. Kyurem Black and Rotom Heat are gone. Meanwhile, he still has his main defensive wall in Mega Aggron. He still has Tauros as a pretty good revenge killer, and he has Garchomp, which is always threatening. So here, not wanting to take an Iron Head, I go into Tangela, he Mega Evolves, and he reveals Counter, which is good to know. So here, I believe I go for the Leech Seed. Yeah, I go for the Leech Seed here. Get some HP up. lose it to Toxic. He switches into Aggron, I switch into Florges. I was predicting something like Dragon Claw to come out from Garchomp. So I just go for Protect here to see what he's going to do. He goes for the Iron Head. I go for the Wish, and he reveals Rocks. So my plan was to originally Wish and pass into Gallade. Sorry, that way, if you went for an Iron Head, I would get all the HP up, and I could obliterate this thing back. But this is really, really annoying, because I do not want Rocks up because it threatens Swellow really badly, and I cannot risk that, so I just choose to sack off Florges here, go for the Defog. But if you ask me, completely worth it, because now Florges is out of the... because now Rocks can pretty much stay off the field. At this point, he's thinking that Swellow kills. My guess is that he was calculating with Modest Swellow, not Timid, because Timid Swellow does not kill from this range. Timid overheats, Spec Swellow does not kill from this range. So he goes into Garchomp, I U-turn out, get some chip damage off. He gets some chip damage back, and so I go into Mega Gallop. And I'm thinking here, I can outspeed him, I can kill him with Ice Punch. If he brings a Mega Aggron, that's all the chip I need. He does reveal to be Scarfed. Scarf Outrage does nowhere near enough. I mean, even then I knew that nothing could kill this Mega Gallade set, and I knew that the only thing that could kill it from Garchomp was a Dragonium Z, but he would have to be, but I would outspeed him either way, so he had to be Scarfed in order to outspeed, and he came nowhere near enough damage, and he never would, so I just go for the Ice Punch and I knock out Garchomp. So he brings in Tauros here. I don't remember if Retaliate is priority or not after a Pokemon is fainted, but I was thinking I didn't want to risk the speed time, so switch out into Tangela. Retaliate, once again, doesn't do a lot. So he goes for Z Outrage, which is interesting tech on his part. I think for him this was just like what he was doing, playing it safe for like turn black in the scenario that he didn't have his checks. So it still doesn't do enough. Leech Seed comes off, and I can start doing some chip damage to this thing. But at this point, Tangela dies to anything he wants to dish out, so I just sack off. Well, no, actually, sorry. He goes for Outrage. Still doesn't do nowhere near enough. I Gauge Drain, I get a lot of HP back. And then Leech Seed chips him down again. I bring in Mega Gallade just to sack because I can't live anything. So I bring in Swellow here, and I just go for Boom Burst. But now Mega Aggron comes in. And at this point was what the game relied on. At this range, I know that nothing he wants to do can knock out Tangela in more than 2 hits. In less than 2 hits. Iron Head is a 3-hit KO from the current range that he's at. Stone Edge is like a 4-hit KO. And me knowing that Swellow cannot kill from this range, and me knowing that that he needs to be at around 65% in order for me to kill him, I just bring in Tangela. He goes for Stone Edge. Doesn't do enough. And I go for Leech Seed. He goes for the Iron Head. Doesn't kill me. So I bring him down to 59%, and at this point, he's pretty much within range. I think at this point, the calc said it killed like 63% of the time. Because I know that I'm faster, I just go for Giga Drain here and get off the last of the damage that was needed. Tangela goes down, but it put in all of the work. Definitely the MVP for this match. Swellow comes in, and I pray that I don't miss the Heat Wave. I do not miss the Heat Wave. Mega Aggron goes down, and we improve 2-2 and 1. So sadly, he drops to 0-3, but his games were all really, really close. They were a 2-0, a 1-0 the week before, and then a 1-0 this week. So good games to him. He's got a good team. He's a good player. He's just been had a lot of bad luck. Um, so, good game to him, and I will be back later, probably with week 4. So I'll see you all then. Peace.